Welcome to the channel, guys. This is That Anxious Gamer. Today I'm going to be giving you an update on Stormgate, SC2, Age of Empires 4, Company of Heroes, basically all the RTS games that are coming out or have already come out in 2023. This was inspired by Daniel Morgan, which was a subscriber of mine. He wants to see more Stormgate content, and I want to give you a full update and explain the reasons why you haven't been seeing as many videos on Stormgate on my channel yet. You will be seeing a lot more in the future. This is fully time-stamped and chaptered, so go around to the parts of the video that interest you. I do care about your time and viewing experience, so let's get right into it and actually get into the meat of the video. So the first thing I want to talk about, guys, is Stormgate. Where are we at in August 2023? Well, basically the situation, guys, is that we are in closed alpha and NDA is happening. Now, because I want to have complete, review integrity, journalistic integrity, I will not be signing the NDA. I don't agree with Frostgiant. I don't agree with Stormgate. I think there's a lot of Kobe kissing. There's a lot of bootlicking. If you look in the Stormgate Reddit, it's got a lot of people that basically will make this out to be the best game that has ever happened when we know next to nothing and the devs have misrepresented, gameplay elements and made the game look to be in a state that it wasn't in. Now, I'm not trying to say they're deliberately trying to deceive people, but what I am saying is that I think that by misrepresenting where the game is currently, I think the game is actually much further out than people want it to be. And they're basically having a huge degree of copium where they're basically pumping up the game. It's like, we're going to get the game next month, when that's not going to be the case, guys. What will we see in the next month? We will see some Infernal gameplay, it looks like, or Infernal reveal as a faction. That's what you're seeing on the background behind me, is like some of the concept art for the Infernals. This will be the second playable race in Stormgate, and we should see more footage, which I will be covering in Gamescom, which is August 23rd through August 27th. So depending on when you're seeing this video, that could have already come out. But if you're watching this the day of release or in the next few days, then about a week away, we should get some Infernal information. So I'll definitely be covering that. Stay tuned. Hit the like, hit the sub. But where are we at in terms of RTS gaming in 2023? We're not in a good place, guys. I want to make that completely honest. RTS gaming in 2023 sucks. So let's talk about what's actually been going on. StarCraft 2 in a disastrous state of affairs. If you've ever seen like the most recent GSL, guys, it's not the same since Artosis left. StarCraft 2, I have a bunch of friends. I was a player for 10 years and hit Diamond 2, Diamond 1, so I'm not a scrub that's never played the game or just talking without knowing what I'm talking about. StarCraft 2 is in a disastrous state. The game is dying, guys. That's the truth. Anybody else is, huffing copium. They're really trying to deceive themselves into thinking things are different than they actually are. Stormgate looks to be quite good, and I do think the game will be quite solid, but I believe that we're at least 6 to 12 months away from any sort of even like early access build. I definitely think, since we're not even seeing the Infernals, I think there's a lot longer than people think. Company of Heroes was a disastrous launch and is pretty much dead. If you look at the Steam numbers, it's pretty dead. I don't think that game is coming back. Age of Empires, I mean, you can look at like Beastie QT, SC2. There's definitely good content creators, and Age of Empires have tried hard. I don't think it's ever going to really catch on. I don't think it's going to be huge like StarCraft 2 or Warcraft 3 ever was, but I think they're making a good attempt, and I do give respect to Age of Empires 4 because I think, honestly, in this year, it's probably the game that is actually making the most strides towards actually being playable. What do I think about Immortal Gates of Pyre, which is a big competitor, and I just played an alpha access test just recently, like a week ago. So, guys, I have a lot of thoughts about Immortal Gates of Pyre. The thing is about it, and I want to stress this, is that I really respect the devs. I think that the dev team is a lot more honest, a lot more forthright, and I was talking to like Tempo. I was talking to people on the team that were communicating with me in a very direct way. Now, we didn't agree on everything, but that's not the important part. The important part is I think Gates of Pyre is a much more community-oriented game than Stormgate is going to be. I think Stormgate and Frostgiant is a situation where it's like, we are in the right, you are in the wrong, and you are going to like what we tell you. And if you do not like what we tell you, then you're shunned, you're an Olivio, and you're basically going to be on the outs. That's what I think is going on with Frost Giant. I'm not going to sugarcoat my words. That's what I honestly believe. It doesn't mean I don't respect them. It doesn't mean I don't think they're doing great work, but I do think that the tonality and the way that they're presenting it is not great. So I wanted to make that clear. I do think Immortal Gates of Pyre is actually a better run studio. However, do I think it's going to be successful as a video game? No, I do not. Why do I not think Immortal Gates of Pyre is going to be successful? Guys, if you look at the Discord and you go when we were in the alpha ran for about 2 days. I tried to spend about 6 hours playing games, and I got a grand total of 2 games played. The reason for this, guys, it is filled with bugs. You can be in a lobby system with people, and you cannot even start the match. You have to restart. Basically, I was talking with the devs. The bugs on that game is just at a ludicrous level. When they say it's an alpha, it truly is an alpha. We're talking a good year to 2 away from launch, in my opinion. I don't think that game is even half baked in the oven. Well, like Stormgate, maybe half to 3/4 baked, if that makes sense, just to put a comparison. So even though Immortal Gates of Pyre, I think, has some very strong things, you can go check out my video about the Immortals, like the tier list of the Immortals and actually what I think about it in my reaction video. They got some cool stuff going on. The game itself feels very much like StarCraft. You're expanding, you're gathering resources, you're training units. It feels good, although a little bit slow. The pacing is a little bit slow. But the issue is there's so many technical issues in Immortal Gates of Pyre. I really don't think we're going to be seeing this game for a long time, guys. And even when it does launch, to be honest with you guys, with seeing how small the community was on Immortal Gates of Pyre, I don't have much hope for it. I think just due to revenue problems, I don't think they're advertising it enough for it to really have a strong effect. This is another thing I'm going to be talking about Stormgate, guys. I think they need to be advertising the game more or letting people in to at least play the Human Resistance faction. Guys, we only have one faction right now. It's really, really raw. And honestly, I think what basically is going on in the community is just a bunch of copium. People are trying to make believe that this game is going to be in their hands in 2 to 3 months when it's just not going to be the case, guys. I really believe by the time an open beta comes, it's going to be like February, March, maybe even June of 2024. So I wanted to talk about that, guys. So StarCraft 2, when we're talking about the state of RTS in 2023, StarCraft 2, dismal state, dying. Age of Empires 4, noble attempt, probably the forerunner for 2023. But, basically still not in a great state in terms of the competitive community. And I think in terms of just player population overall, a little bit slow paced game too. And it's got some problems, but that's for a separate video. And then we're talking about Company of Heroes, which was a disastrous launch. We're talking about Immortal Gates of Pyre, which 6 hours, 2 games, guys. I think that speaks for itself. Too buggy, way too raw. Check back in on that game in like 2 years. And then we're talking about Homeworld, which is still ways away, like Homeworld 3. Guys, the state of RTS gaming in 2023, this was supposed to be the year of the RTS. It's not, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the year of the RPG. When you're looking at Baldur's Gate 3, which has been one of the best gaming experiences I've ever played, when you're looking at Starfield coming out in a month, when you're looking at perhaps the Elden Ring expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree coming out later this year, when you're talking about Armored Core coming out in like a week and a half, guys, RTS are basically a non-entity in 2023. I hate to say that. I'm a huge RTS fanboy. This hurts me inside, but I'm going to tell you the honest truth. I think that RTS is in a terrible, terrible place in 2023. That's my personal opinion. That's basically the TLDR of the video, is that it doesn't matter which franchise you look at, which is like StarCraft 2, and maybe even StarCraft 3 in the future, when you're talking about Age of Empires, when you're talking about Company of Heroes, when you're talking about Gates of Pyre, these games are either not launched and not launching in the next few months, or they're basically games that are basically on the way out already. The player population is dying, and people are quitting en masse like StarCraft 2. So, hate to say it, guys. Hope 2024 can kind of turn things around. I will be doing more content creation for Stormgate. Hopefully, when the Gamescom we get some Infernal gameplay, I can cover that because I have a lot of passion for RTS and I have a lot of passion for this game. Even though I don't see eye to eye with the devs, and I'm very honest in saying that way. So hopefully this video has been enlightening and kind of gives you a little bit of perspective of where we are right now in the RTS space. I would love to hear your comments, guys. I'm sure you guys have some pretty strong opinions. I know I do. I really want to hear back from you. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe. I really try to put a lot of heart and soul into these videos, and your support means everything. You guys have been fantastic. I will see you guys in the next video.